5 years ago, we bought 22 acres of raw land in the Southern Sierra Nevada mountains, and we had no homestead experience.
And we made every mistake that you can possibly make.
In this video, we're going to walk you through the 5 biggest mistakes that we've made buying off-grid land, including the one decision that we could have done more research on that's about to cost us between $30,000 to $70,000.
With no guarantee that it's even going to work.
So, if you're thinking about buying raw land for your homestead or for off-grid living or for anything, please, 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 please watch this video before you sign on to anything.
And we're going to tell you what no real estate agent is going to tell you.
7 Sigma Off-Grid.
If you're new here, we're 7 Sigma
Off-Grid.
and we are a husband-wife team who bought 22 acres of completely raw land in 2021. And we have been building our off-grid homestead from scratch since 2023. When we say raw, we mean nothing, absolutely nothing. No power, no water, no driveway, no structures. So far, we have placed an RV on the property,
Installed 11 kilowatt EG4 solar system,
hauled in our own water storage,
built a driveway,
bush hogged,
and just built a greenhouse last month.
and in those 3 years, we also learned exactly what we got wrong. So these are the 5 specific mistakes that we've made.
With receipts.
Mistake number 1, we did not research water access on this property the way we should have.
Nope.
We knew there was no municipal water connection. What we should have done was investigate much more than we did in regards to what it would take to get reliable water for the long term. Here's the reality. We built our own water system.
We have a 2,500 gallon tank, a 305 gallon tank, and 3 275 IBC totes.
And that's pretty much our water system.
That's it.
Right now, we're saving up for a drill.
For a drill. We're
And-
saving up to drill a well.
And the closest comparable wells around this area goes about 300 to 500 feet deep. That's really a serious investment with no guarantees that we'll have usable water. So here's what we wish we should have done before we made an offer on this property. Number 1, we should have pulled some well logs from the county or state groundwater database before making an offer. Most states publish them and most buyers never look. Number 2, we should have called at least 2 to 3 well drillers in the area and asked average depth, cost per foot, success rate,
And what percentage of wells in this zip code hit water? We only call 1. Check USGS groundwater data in the region.
It's free, public, and almost nobody reads it. Ask the county assessor office about water rights, well permits, and any historical drilling on the parcel. Walk the land in the wettest season and the driest season. Water that's there in March may be gone in September, just like our spring that has magically disappeared. And lastly, have a backup water plan before you close, even if your primary plan is a future well.
That backup plan can be hauling water or rain catchment.
And we'll come back to that well situation at the end of this video.
Because what we're about to do in a few months is going to be the most expensive thing we've done on this property.
Mistake number 2, we bought 22 acres of
Stop
land.
stealing my job.
Okay, go.
That's why your shoulder ashy. Look at that.
Let you go.
You need some lotion. Mistake number 2. We bought 22 acres of land in a high fire zone, and insurance is expensive.
If you can get it. So in California, if you live in a designated high fire zone, getting homeowners insurance is almost impossible. And major carriers have pulled out of these zones entirely.
And the ones that are left charge premiums that are out of this world.
And some properties cannot get private coverage at any price. So here's what we wish we had done. Look up the property's fire hazard severity zone before you make an offer. In California, CAL FIRE publishes these maps publicly. Call 3 to 5 home insurance carriers and ask whether they would write a policy at the exact address. If most say no, that is your warning.
Ask about the state-run insurer of last resort. In California, that's the FAIR plan, and what coverage actually looks like, including premium estimates. Factor fire abatement cost into your land budget.
An annual brush clearing on a property like ours is ongoing labor.
And equipment cost.
Understand defensible space requirements.
These are not optional in fire country.
So this is not just a California problem. Fire zones are expanding nationwide. So if you're shopping for land in any state, the same requirements apply.
And action.
Okay, so this one really surprised us. Mistake number 3, we did not think several projects ahead before we bought the property.
It's all my fault.
On this raw land, every decision that you make has a downstream consequence. If you build the driveway in the wrong place, your future water lines has to route around it. If you set up your solar before you've decided where the home is going to go, you may end up moving everything. And we've had to move the solar panels several times. And if you grade an area for one purpose, you've affected the drainage for everything else that comes after that. So these are all things that you need to think about before you start building on a property.
Tell me that again.
These are all things you need to think about.
Who needs to think about it?
We need to think about it
I need to think about it, and y'all need to think about it.
before you start building on a property.
Don't be like me.
So number one, before you start any project, ask, what will this project affect 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, 3 years down the line from now? That's not something that we actually thought about.
Still don't think about it.
We need to get better at that. And you need to map out a rough 3-year project sequence on paper before you start anything. Driveway, your power, your water, structures, building, garden area, all of that. Just map it out on paper before you start building. We did not do that.
It's gonna beat me with it. I didn't do it.
We're a team.
Stop picking on me.
We didn't do it. So we're telling you guys to do it.
We're crying in the car.
Also, account for equipment access. If you build structure that blocks tractor access or access to anything on your property, you probably have created a problem that you're going to regret down the line.
Got a whole bunch of those.
Also, drainage. Where your water goes when it rains is going to determine by your earliest grading decisions.
One example we didn't think about doing is when we had the trenches dug for our solar system here. I knew we were going to get a mini split, but I didn't think about having the array for the mini split included down here. So that's why we have them up there, because lack of foresight.
Yep.
So now we got 2 solar arrays.
Mistake number 4. Did we really need 22 acres?
Yes.
Because he greedy. Every acre that you buy is every acre that you have to maintain.
Every acre is fire abatement.
Every acre is a fence line if you ever decide to fence.
Every acre is property tax.
And every acre is more terrain to walk, bush hog, and manage. So here are the things you need land for: home site, garden, livestock, privacy buffer, water storage, and septic.
Add up the real square footage. Most people need far less than what you think.
Buffer acreage has real value. Don't dismiss this.
Maintenance cost scales with acreage.
So mistake number 5, we bought slope land. I mean, it's beautiful, but it has cost us way more than we thought it would have cost us. The driveway is more expensive.
So we just rebuilt our driveway because of what?
Erosion and ruts. Tractor and heavy equipment use can take longer, and it can be more dangerous. Drainage has to be engineered, and the foundation work for any structure is a little bit different. That's a whole different conversation. Also, our land has tons and tons of rocks, so that's something that you also need to consider when you're purchasing land.
She's obsessed with rocks.
I am obsessed with rocks.
We're on a mountain though.
That's true.
So it's gonna be rocks.
Yeah, that's true. But like we did say, it is beautiful,
Very.
but it's going to cost you. Okay, so here are some lessons that we've learned purchasing this property. Building on a slope is way more expensive.
Yep.
Estimate about 20 to 40% more for driveway, foundation, and dirt work compared to flat land of the same size.
Think we should have got flat land? What say you?
No, because I love our view.
I'm still down with the slope.
Also,
Maintenance cost is forever.
bush hogging, erosion repair, and drainage maintenance does not go away. You also have to consider equipment. For example, a tractor that handles on flat land may not handle well on a slope or steep ground.
And have some experience because I'm a rookie.
Also
I'm
have
always about to tip
experience.
over.
This is a good one. Walk the land before you buy it. Walk it in hiking shoes. Walk it in rain boots. Walk it in sneakers. Walk in the rain if possible.
What about heels and pumps?
Walk it in heels and pumps, exactly. Just know that marketing photos will always make slopes less than what they really are.
Real estate agents do trickery with their photos.
Also, the views, our views, that is an asset. But just know what you're trading it for. That's it. That's all we're saying. So if you're set on slope land, buy a property where the buildable site is the flattest part.
Okay, we know we said 5 mistakes. We're going to throw in a bonus mistake.
If you have fencing on the property or if you don't have fencing on the property.
We only have fencing on 2 sides, so we have to do 2 more sides, and that's going to be expensive as well.
And the reason for that is because we have free range cow in the area and they come in all the time.
I wish we had a free range cow. We got free range cows.
We have free-range cows in the area. They come in all the time and leave little droppings everywhere.
This is good for compost.
My husband thinks it's good for compost. So that's something to consider is
And the cost. What did we get for that quote? $8,000.
yeah.
And that's a lot.
Which goes back to consider the acreage that you're purchasing because the more acreage you have, the more
fencing.
Exactly.
The legal burden in many states is on you to fence cattle out, not the rancher to fence them in.
So make sure you budget for full perimeter fencing the day you buy. So, will we still purchase this land again? What say you?
Definitely.
Definitely? I say, of course.
You better say of course. Because we in here now. We already spent a bunch of money. You got no choice.
Of course we would still do it
And
again.
you got lovely gunshots. Stay close with your slope.
All you have to do is look at the view. So yes, we would do it again. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, we made mistakes when purchasing the land. Yes, we have a lot of blind spots, but it has all been a huge learning experience for us. It has been an amazing journey. We had blood, sweat, and tears. Out of all of that, yes, we would still purchase this land again.
You damn skippy.
The water situation, we're solving.
Check.
The fire abatement, every season we'll do it.
Check.
The slope, we've made peace with it. The fencing, we'll get to. And the 22 acres, we are still trying to figure that out, and we are okay with that. What we don't regret is the decision to do this. This is the best decision we've ever made.
Mistakes and all.
Okay, we just want to go back to our water situation. We have a 3-part strategy for our water situation on the property. So we already have water temporarily in our 2 tanks as well as our 3 totes. So that's part 1. Part 2 of our strategy is rainwater catchment. We already have a system on our greenhouse to catch water, and we're going to start placing gutters on our house so that we can also catch water, as much water as possible during those seasons.
It's a semi-arid area. Doesn't get a lot of rain.
Part 3 is the last part, and that is
Robbing a bank.
we do need to rob a bank for what we're trying to do. We are going to drill a well. Yay! Yeah, you guys can donate to us. No, anyway, just kidding.
We got to save up anywhere between 30 and 70 grand.
Yeah.
And we're working on it.
The closest comparable wells in our area runs about 300 to 500 feet deep. We're looking at $30,000 to $70,000.
Ouch. If we hit water, this changes everything. If we don't, we'll just keep hauling water. Either way, that video is coming, so subscribe so you don't miss it. And we're going to film the whole thing. But before then, we're taking donations.
So if you're looking for raw land, drop your comments below. We will read every last one of them and answer all of them. Also, if you like our shenanigans, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to share. Also, join our Discord group. We have a lot of information in that group. But we just want to say thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye. So here's some specific.
So here are the things you need land for. Homestead, garden, livestock, privacy buffer, water storage, and septic.
No neighbors.
No encroachment
Encroachment. No roaches.
compared to flat land of the same size. I'm going to read it.
Remember Bill O'Reilly? He was like, we're going live. We're going live.
Okay. And it wasn't on. I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, just do
Oh,
it.
God. Okay. Sierra Nevada mountains with no homestead experience.
Where's my cue?
I need you to get on board.
Go.
Okay.
You see a bird fall out the tree?
Yeah, you just be like,
But did you see the bird fall
it
out?
wasn't a bird. I don't know what that was.
7 Sigma. Off-grid.